Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Megan Byron just went into full hiding mode after her husband's affair became an international laughingstock. But she did nothing wrong. So why is she hiding? It was supposed to be a night of lights, music, and magic, a Coldplay concert in Boston, sold out and buzzing with energy. The air was electric, filled with the anticipation of thousands of fans ready to lose themselves in the melodies of their favorite band. Among the crowd were Andy Byron, the CEO of a $1.3 billion tech company, and Kristin Cabot, his chief people officer. They were there to enjoy the show, but little did they know this night would mark the beginning of a public unraveling neither of them could have prepared for. As Chris Martin's voice echoed through the stadium, the atmosphere was charged with excitement. The band's signature kiss cam bit was a beloved tradition, a playful interaction with the audience that always brought smiles. But when the camera zoomed in on two very specific people, Byron and Cabot, the mood shifted dramatically. What the world saw wasn't just an awkward moment, it was explosive. Fingers intertwined, arms linked, eyes locked, and then, in a split second, complete panic. Byron ducked out of frame, while Cabot buried her face in her hands. The audience erupted in laughter and gasps, and Chris Martin, trying to keep the mood light, quipped, "Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy." That moment was captured by thousands of phones, and within hours it spread like wildfire across social media platforms. TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere you looked, the incident was trending. Memes flooded the internet, with one user joking, "The odds of your marriage ending at a Coldplay concert are low but never zero." Another quipped, "Coldplay's kiss cam just destroyed a $1.3 billion company." But this wasn't just about two people caught in an awkward situation, it became a digital feeding frenzy. As the video gained traction, a screenshot of an alleged apology from Byron began circulating online. It looked polished, sincere, even poetic. He spoke of privacy violations and heartbreak, ending with Coldplay's lyrics, "Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you." It was emotional, touching, almost too perfect, because it was fake. The statement wasn't from Byron, it was traced back to a parody account on Twitter, someone claiming to be from CBS News. But no such employee existed. The account was satire and the apology was a hoax. Yet, the internet didn't care. The damage was done. As the chaos unfolded, the world watched in real time, captivated by the spectacle of a seemingly perfect executive life unraveling before their eyes. The kiss cam moment had set off a chain reaction that would shake up an entire tech company, ruin a marriage, and make two people the faces of corporate embarrassment on a global stage. And so, the stage was set for a scandal that would echo far beyond that night in Boston, leaving everyone wondering, how could a simple moment of fun turn into a public relations nightmare? As the kiss cam incident went viral, the fallout was swift and unforgiving. Social media erupted with memes, jokes, and speculation, turning Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot into the unwitting stars of a scandal that no one saw coming. The internet, with its insatiable appetite for drama, feasted on the chaos. Each new post, tweet, and video added fuel to the fire, transforming a light-hearted moment into a digital circus. Just as the memes reached peak virality, a series of fake apologies attributed to Byron began circulating. The first one, polished and poetic, claimed he was heartbroken over the invasion of privacy. It was a masterclass in emotional manipulation, except it was entirely fabricated. The parody account that created it had no affiliation with Byron or his company, but that didn't stop the internet from latching onto it. The second fake statement, which claimed Byron wasn't sorry for the kiss cam moment but wished Coldplay would return to making better albums, sent TikTok into a frenzy. Users laughed even harder, with one person stitching the video to say, "He didn't just lose his marriage, he lost the plot." Meanwhile, the silence from Byron's wife, Megan, spoke volumes. Observant social media users quickly noticed she had quietly dropped Byron from her Facebook name. No longer Megan Byron, she was now simply Megan Kerrigan. Hours later, her entire account vanished, leaving behind a digital void that only fueled speculation. Support for Megan flooded the comment sections, with tweets and posts labeling her a class act. One post that gained over 100,000 likes read, "What a queen. Get the divorce lawyer in the bag." The internet had chosen its side, and it was clear where the sympathy lay. Behind the scenes, more details began to emerge about Byron's leadership at Astronomer, the tech company he had helmed since 2023. Once celebrated as a sharp strategist who turned tech into gold, he was now a meme, a scandal, and a trending topic. Kristin Cabot, a seasoned HR veteran from Silicon Valley, found herself at the center of a workplace scandal that contradicted the very values she had built her career on: trust, leadership, and fostering positive work cultures. As the public narrative spiraled, former employees of Astronomer began to come forward, sharing their experiences in the wake of the scandal. Whisper networks transformed into loud voices, with allegations of toxic behavior by Byron resurfacing. Screenshots, subtweets, and group chat leaks painted a picture of a hostile work environment, and some former employees even celebrated the scandal in private chats. One ex-employee wrote, "Karma's real. We've been warning people about him for years." Byron's leadership style, once seen as intense but effective, was now under scrutiny. Astronomer's social media pages went radio silent, and Byron's own LinkedIn profile was deactivated. The company issued no public statement, and the silence spoke volumes. Back at the concert, Chris Martin slowly realized the gravity of what had transpired. Reports indicated he looked visibly uncomfortable as fans began whispering and sharing videos before the encore even began. At one point he nervously said into the mic, "Holy I hope we didn't do something bad," but it was too late. The internet had already given it a name, Coldplay Gate. Google searches for Astronomer CEO wife surged, and hashtags like #ColdplayGate and #KissCamScandal trended for days. Even Elon Musk chimed in with a cryptic tweet, "Live by the algorithm, die by the algorithm." The fallout was undeniable. A 30-second kiss cam moment had set off a chain reaction that would shake the foundations of a tech giant, ruin a marriage, and expose the fragility of reputations in the digital age. As the chaos unfolded, the world was left to ponder one question: was this just a misunderstanding, or was Coldplay's kiss cam the most unexpected whistleblower in tech history? The stage was set for a reckoning, and the consequences were only just beginning to unfold. As the scandal deepened, Astronomer went into full damage control mode. The company's silence became its loudest statement, and whispers of internal turmoil began to circulate. Investors held emergency meetings, concerned about the leadership's ability to weather the storm. The public's fascination with the kiss cam incident only grew, leading to intense discussions about power dynamics and workplace ethics in the tech industry. Amid the chaos, the rumors of Andy Byron's resignation began to surface. It was a staggering fall from grace for a man who once aspired to be the Jeff Bezos of data. The company's official website quietly removed Byron's biography, leaving everything else untouched, a clear indication that the board was distancing itself from the scandal. Meanwhile, Kristin Cabot's social media accounts remained locked, her silence echoing the uncertainty surrounding her role in the unfolding drama. The cultural impact of the incident was undeniable. Late-night shows jumped on the scandal, with segments featuring comedians poking fun at the absurdity of the situation. Jimmy Fallon pretended to be a nervous Chris Martin stuck in a loop of apology songs, while Saturday Night Live teased a sketch involving a Coldplay concert turned corporate tribunal. The kiss cam moment had transcended the tech world, becoming a full-blown pop culture phenomenon. As the dust began to settle, the internet slowly moved on, but the damage lingered. Trust, once lost, is hard to rebuild. For Astronomer, it may take years to recover from the fallout. For Byron, the consequences were even more severe. Reports confirmed that he had indeed resigned, marking a significant shift in the company's leadership. The once celebrated CEO was now a cautionary tale, a reminder of how quickly a carefully curated image can crumble. In the aftermath, Meghan Kerrigan emerged as a symbol of quiet dignity amidst the chaos. Her decision to step back from the public eye resonated with many, and she became a figure of support for those who had experienced similar betrayals. The haunting lyrics of Coldplay's "Fix You" played just minutes after the infamous kiss cam moment, echoing the sentiment of loss and heartbreak that permeated the situation. When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, felt eerily prophetic in hindsight. As the world reflected on the events of that fateful night, the real takeaway from Coldplay Gate became clear. In the digital age, there are no private moments in public spaces. A single unguarded second can bring crashing down an entire empire built on image and reputation. The kiss cam incident served as a stark reminder of the fragility of public personas, especially for those in positions of power. The implications of the scandal extended beyond Byron and Cabot. It sparked conversations about workplace ethics, power imbalances, and the responsibilities of leaders to uphold a culture of integrity. Experts weighed in, noting that if there was indeed a relationship between Byron and Cabot, the power differential made it problematic, particularly given Cabot's role as chief people officer. When HR is involved in the scandal, it cuts deeper, one commentator noted. She was supposed to protect the employees, not the CEO. As the media continued to dissect the fallout, former employees shared their experiences on platforms like Blind and Reddit, revealing a toxic work environment that had long been overlooked. Complaints about Byron's micromanagement and the oppressive culture at Astronomer resurfaced, painting a picture of a company that, while outwardly successful, was built on fear and burnout. The narrative that had once celebrated Byron as a visionary began to unravel, replaced by a more complex and troubling reality. In the weeks that followed, the internet buzzed with speculation and humor, but the underlying issues remained. Parody accounts continued to thrive, with one viral tweet joking that Byron and Cabot had fled the country together on a Coldplay-themed yacht. Another quipped that Meghan was now being courted for a Netflix documentary titled Unkissed, The Coldplay Cam Confession. The absurdity of the situation provided a coping mechanism for an audience grappling with the reality of a real-life soap opera unfolding in high resolution. As the dust settled, the question lingered: what would become of Astronomer? The company's future remained uncertain, with whispers of a leadership overhaul and a commitment to rebuilding trust. For Byron, the road ahead was fraught with challenges, as he faced the consequences of his actions and the public's judgment. In the end, Coldplay Gate was more than just a viral moment. It was a cultural phenomenon that exposed the vulnerabilities of those in power and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The world watched as a seemingly perfect executive life unraveled, not because of a leaked email or a whistleblower, but because of a camera, a crowd, and one very unfortunate zoom-in. As the final notes of Coldplay's music faded into the background, the story of Andy Byron, Kristin Cabot, and the kiss cam incident became a cautionary tale for leaders everywhere. In a world where every moment is captured and shared, the stakes have never been higher. The camera doesn't just capture memories, it captures consequences, and sometimes, those consequences can change everything.